All right, what is up, guys? So the last few videos actually, you guys have been suggesting I make a video on kind of like piece movement and kind of how to win the game and just how like the game works in general. So I'm actually going to make two videos. This first video is just going to be like the basics of how the pieces move, and how they attack, and also like the points they're worth. And then I'm going to make another video after that explaining kind of like the very basic like principles of how to win the chess game. That consists of like the opening, the middle game, and the end game. But as for now, I'll just get started this video with just how the pieces move. So I'll get started here with just the pawns. So the pawns are in the front rank of each side here. The very first move, the pawn can either move forward 1 or 2 spaces. So say you move there, other side move there. After that, the pawn can only move forward 1 space. So like the next move, he can move there. Let's see here. Let's see down here. So yeah, the pawns can only move in that direction. To attack with the pawns, it's kind of interesting. So say like this, both sides move their pawns up 2 spaces at first. They're touching each other. They can't move forward anymore because they're blocking each other. The way pawns take is actually like diagonally like this. So if there's a pawn there, essentially the pawn can take there, and that's how they take pieces. So I mean, if there's a knight there, the pawn could take right there. So yeah, pawns attack this way. And pawns are worth 1 point. So each of these pawns all worth 1 point. They're the lowest rated point piece in the game. And from there, I'll do the queen next, and then I'll kind of work this way from like the center of the board, and then I'll save the king for last because it's kind of like the most important piece. It's kind of how it's very important. I'll explain at the end, but I'll do the queen next. The queen can essentially move. Hold up. The queen can essentially move vertically or horizontally, and they can also move diagonally. So the queen is actually like the most powerful piece in the game. If it was in like the middle of the board here, it could essentially take a ton of space up. And for this reason, it's also worth 9 points. So if you get like your queen in the center of the board here, it's in a very good position. It can do like a lot of damage to the other team's pieces. So say if you had a piece here, the queen could take because it's on the vertical squares there, or sorry, the diagonal squares there. And then say if the other team had like his rook right there, since it's on the horizontal line here, it can just take there. So that's the queen. The queen's worth 9 points. That's how it moves. After that, here, let's stay with the white side here. Okay, so after that is the bishop. So bishops here. Sorry, bishops. The bishops move diagonally. So if your bishop was in the center of the board here, it could essentially move this way. So there's like a light squared bishop and a dark squared bishop for each team. So one is going to be able to move on all the dark squares, and the other one is going to be able to move on all the light squares. So if like a piece was, if an enemy piece was like right here, it would be safe because it's actually used like that. It'd be safe because bishops can't move vertically like that. They can only move on the diagonals. But if this piece was say like right there, the bishop could take because it's on the diagonal there. So yeah, that is how the bishops move, and they are worth 3 points. So they're worth like a third of what the queen's worth, or just like 3 pawns if that's how you want to think about it. But after that, we got the knights here. The knights are kind of special because they can actually move over pieces. So say if you were doing your opening, your first move could be your knight right there because they can move over pieces. They're the only piece that can do that. And I'll kind of show how the The knight moves kind of in an interesting way. It can move in all directions, 2 spaces, and then after that it can either move one direction to the left or one direction to the right. So this is essentially what the knight would look like. And if the knight was in the center of the board here, it could essentially take up like 8 spaces here. So yeah, it's a pretty powerful piece. Attacks. Let's see, I'll show you that real quick. So say if you got right here, if there's a piece here, obviously be safe. Knights can't attack that way, but if it was like right here, since it's on, one of these spaces here, the knight can take. I'm saying so much. I'll try not to, but sorry. Okay, if there was a piece here and a piece here, the knight could essentially hop over the piece and take. So that's the knight. The knight is also worth 3 points, just like the bishop. I'm trying so hard not to say The knight's worth 3 points like the bishop. Only the bishop and the knight are worth 3 points. Yeah, okay, so we'll just move on to the rook. So the rook, it's such a bad habit. The rook can move vertically or horizontally all the way across the board, just like the bishop can. So if there was like a piece here, it'd be safe because it's not under range here. This here is safe. But if it was like right there, obviously the rook could take. So yeah, the rook's a pretty basic piece. It's a pretty powerful piece though. It's actually worth 4 points, which is 1 more than the knight and the bishop. It's the second highest rated piece in the game after the queen, not including the king because the king's a little different. I'll explain at the end why the king's that way though. I guess he's actually the next piece. So let's see. Yeah, we did all the pieces. We did the pawn. Yeah, okay. So last piece in the game is the king here. Not the knight, but okay. Yeah, right here. Right there. That's the king. So the king can move just like the queen, but only 1 space. So the queen can move, in all these directions. Sorry, so sloppy. In all these directions, but the king can only move like in all those directions but 1 space. So he can move here, here, all around. And the reason I say the king is like special is because he's kind of worth like the whole game. He doesn't really have a point like associated to him. He's worth like the whole game. So the way you win in chess is actually by checkmating your other opponent. And the way you checkmate is essentially by attacking the other opponent's king and without the king being able to move. So say if your king was here, if the opponent's queen was there, that would be called check, not checkmate. It's check because the queen is attacking the king and the king would have to move out of the way the next move. So that'd be check. The game's not over or anything. It's just the king has to move out of the way the next turn. An example of checkmate would be if like you had a position like this. This is checkmate because the king cannot move in any of these squares without being under attack. He's under attack right now, which makes it, oh shoot. He's under attack right now, which makes it checkmate because the queen's attacking him and covering all of these spaces. And the king cannot take the queen because the rook is covering the queen there. So even if it was like, I don't know, like a bishop, if any piece is covering the queen like that, it's checkmate. There's a lot of different ways you can checkmate the other king, just one of them. But that is essentially the basic movements and how the points work for each of the pieces, and also like attacking. The next video is going to be on like more like strategy of how to win, and it's going to talk about the opening, the mid game, and the end game. So that's actually going to be a really solid video. Definitely check it out. But yeah, if you like this one, definitely like, or can't dislike anymore. Like, comment, and subscribe. That'd be super cool. I'd love that. And check in the next video if you want. But other than that, have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.